Derby County and Charlotte FC have reached an agreement in principle for the US men's national team forward Patrick Agyemang, according to Tom Boga, a deal in the region of $8 million plus $2 million worth of bonuses has been agreed for Derby County to retain the signing of Patrick Agyemang. Now, Charlotte do retain a sell-on clause for the 24-year-old forward, but it looks as if this deal is getting closer and closer to happening. Now, obviously, that is a lot of money for Derby County. I think it works out at around £6 million up front, with around another £1 to £2 million in bonuses heading the way of Charlotte FC should Patrick Agyemang hit his markers, essentially. And it's very good to see Derby County spend this money, but is it the right move for Derby? Obviously, there's been a lot of talking points about Patrick Agyemang within the Gold Cup with the USA so far, but obviously that's something we're going to get into in this video. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But should we get into it? Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, obviously, Patrick Agyemang is a very raw and physical presence in that forward area, and a player who we've spoke about a lot over the course of the last maybe 10 days or so. And I think it's really important that Derby County have finally sort of got to a place where a deal has been agreed and they're sort of moving forward with this deal, because I think with a lot of people, what's happening right now, especially Derby County fans, is they're hearing what X person is saying, what Y person is saying, and they're not really taking into account what Patrick Agyemang is actually good at. And I think that's sort of what we need to see for ourselves, essentially. We need him to come join Derby County, get him involved in pre-season and see exactly what he can do, rather than listening to what other people are saying. Because I've watched a few clips of him. I watched a bit of America's game the other night. I think they won 2-1 against Guatemala. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's the finished article. I'm not saying that Patrick Agyemang is going to come and score 20 goals for Derby County, but he certainly looks to be a real handful. And in my opinion, that's what you need in the Championship. You need players that are going to cause problems and make defenders think. And he might not come in and score 10, 20 goals, but he might come in and be the reason why Derby County score 15 goals from wide areas, for example. Like, his impact on the defence might open up spaces for the wingers to score, for our number 10 to score, maybe even if we're playing in a front two, for Carlton Morris or Jorgen Selverson to pick up goals. And that's what I think Derby County need to acknowledge when we're looking at this deal, because I know that when you sign a striker and you spend $8 million, which I think works out at around £6 million, I think it's really interesting that when we're looking at it, everybody needs to look at it as if we're sort of making, I don't know, a signing that's going to score 20 million goals over the next 6 months. But we know that that isn't necessarily sort of what's going to happen. We know that we just need to bring in players that are going to have an impact and are going to cause problems and are going to help Derby County be successful next season. And some people may see Patrick Agyemang coming in for $8 million and think if he doesn't score 15 goals, it's a failure. But for me, I think judging whether it's a success or a failure will purely come depending on how impactful he is, not purely based on goals and assists, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, as a striker, he has to be involved in goals and assists. Don't get me wrong. But I think the important thing is the impact that he has. Someone like Carlton Morris last season for Luton, 8 goals, 2 assists. And obviously, he wasn't necessarily given the sort of praise from Luton fans that I necessarily think he deserves, but he impacted games. He was a massive impact. If you go and look at Luton's both games against Derby County last season, Carlton Morris was heavily involved in all of the goals they scored, and that he's a massive reason they won both of those games. And that's obviously something which I think, I'm not saying Patrick Agyemang is going to be that sort of striker, because obviously that's what we've brought Carlton Morris in for, but I do believe that Derby County must they've got an idea with Patrick Agyemang, and he looks quick, he looks strong, and he looks like he can put the ball in the back of the net, and that is the important thing. And that is what Derby County need, and we're going to have to see how it sort of progresses. Obviously, if you look at Derby County's forward line right now, we've got the option to play a 3-5-2, 4-4-2, or even a 4-2-3-1 at the moment, because you've got Selverson can play up front, Agyemang, you're then going to have Carlton Morris, Dejon Brown, Andreas Fireman. So you've got all these players who can play through the middle, and I think it's going to be very, very important for Derby County to keep that moving into the season. Now, obviously, I do think there's a lot of work for Derby County to do in regards to that of the forward area, because you've obviously got... we still need sort of a couple of creative midfielders, in my opinion. We still need another sort of technical-minded box-to-box midfielder to sit next to Ibu, which I think will come as the transfer window sort of pushes forward. But I do think this is an excellent deal for Derby County. I know a lot of people are going to look at the fee and are going to go, oh, Jesus Christ, that's nearly £6 million. What are Derby County doing? He's not a huge... talent. He's not this player, he's not that player. And for me, I actually think we need to be very sort of careful of how we look at this deal. I know it's a lot of money, but I really do believe that he'll be very, very good for Derby. And I think the way he's hated by Americans is not because he's bad, it's because they have other options. You look at someone like Josh Sargent, who's obviously an unbelievable player, and you've got players like that who are essentially a step ahead, who are sort of miles out of our reach if you look at it as Derby County. But does that mean that Patrick Agyemang isn't good enough to play in the Championship? Does it mean that Patrick Agyemang isn't good enough to end up playing in the Premier League one day? I personally do not believe so. Now, obviously, people are going to have their doubts. People are going to look at the comments about Patrick Agyemang from the American fans that have watched him throughout the Gold Cup and things like that. And I just think that it's very important that we make our own decisions and judge the player in a Derby County shirt, not in a USA shirt or a Charlotte FC shirt. Don't get me wrong, you can go and watch clips, absolutely do that, because I think it's really important to understand what sort of player we're getting. But I think that based on the clips I've seen, the highlight packages I've seen of Patrick Agyemang, I think he is a very, very good player. Don't get me wrong, unbelievably raw and a lot of work to do, but I think there's quality there and I think there's talent there as well. And I think he is I think he's going to be a very, very good player. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Derby County have agreed a deal for Charlotte FC forward and US men's national team forward. Patrick Agyemang, the 24-year-old, looks set to be heading to Pride Park Stadium. I'll catch you in a bit. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.